A deal on Dickens, who could resist? A stack of Austen, warmly kissed. Golden Age crime tales twist and turn, every page a treasure to learn. Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea, reading always feels so free.
Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I'm just doing what remains of a book haul video before headed into June on the Range. I called it wrong last time. I called it, I think I called it June Home on the Range last time, but it's actually Home on the Range. No, I did it again. It's actually June on the Range, and I will try to remember to link a bunch of the people who are hosting this read along. There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people are pulling out their cowboy hats. I had forgotten somewhat that I had one. I've had this for years. I used to actually wear it out. I just don't go out that much anymore, but I always liked it as a protection against the sun, and just because I like it. I like how it looks. But let me go ahead and do my book haul, and then I'll show what I hope to read at the very least. I'm hoping to go beyond my initial plans. But book haul first. So, whoopsie. These are, I think they're all used books. I don't really pick up much of anything else unless I have to. This one here is by Elmore Leonard, a new to me author. Oh, and this has been cut a little bit. But this is 310 to Yuma and Other Stories, seven classic tales of the West from America's premier storyteller. And I picked it up because I had watched 310 to Yuma way back when. I've watched it several times, but it's been a while. But I'm not sure I'll get around to doing this one this year. This one is on my TBR for this coming month. This is Red River by Borden Chase. The story of a man who drove the first herd of longhorn beef to railhead at Abilene through floods, starvation, savage Indians, and treacherous whites to save the great state of Texas from ruin. Borden Chase's epic novel of the Old West in the grim years after the Civil War. Oh, okay, so it was originally published as Blazing Guns on the Chisholm Trail. But it does seem to follow the same story as the movie Red River, where you have John Wayne playing, what is the main character's name? Dunstan. I didn't see it in here first. I actually remembered it. Dunstan is your main character, and then you have Matthew Garth, who was played by Montgomery Clift. So, it's not very long, although the text is really tiny. But this is on my TBR. Apparently, there's a collection of Louis L'Amour's called Lost Treasures. I don't know if they are really that lost, but there's one called Bowdry, and I'm not sure if it's short stories or if it's a full-on, just a normal novel, because it says Bowdry Stories includes bonus materials, but when I flip through, I can't really tell. But I got the impression that this might have, at the very least, you got a Ranger trying to take care of cases. I don't know how much of a mystery it is, but I was looking for something within the Western genre that was maybe a bit different than the other books that I was picking up. So I figured that Bowdry would be a good one to have. Louis L'Amour, I guess, wrote a lot in just different forms in the Western genre. I guess he dabbled in mystery, the normal adventures. I don't know how much he touched the romance version of the Western, but he was so prolific in the genre, I'm sure he touched just about everything. Now, this one was described as a mystery. Oh, okay, this must be short stories, because it says Bowdry Stories here. Here it says The Haunted Mesa, a novel. And they both include bonus materials, which I don't know what those will be. But this one, when I looked at it on Amazon, it described it as a mystery. So that's mainly why I picked it up. Sounds a little creepy with the title Haunted Mesa. Let's see. I thought I had... Okay, here. Now, someone else was mentioning on their channel that they had wanted to pick up the short story, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. They couldn't find it, so they're going to be reading the screenplay. I want to say it was the Literate Texan who mentioned it, but I'm not quite sure. But I had managed to find it. This is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, but it has other short stories in here. Oh, I didn't know that it was written by a woman. Usually I think of men writing westerns. But got the main title, which is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Then you have A Man Called Horse, The Hanging Tree. Was Hanging Tree a movie as well? And you have Lost Sister. But I had really picked it up for The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I don't know how similar it is to the movie. I might have to do a watching of it and then compare. If I even read it this year. This isn't on my plans. Now, one of the other ones that is actually planned for me is Louis L'Amour, Hondo. This is actually quite a pretty copy of it, and I definitely picked this one up used. So there is the dust jacket, which has a nice feel to it. And then the book itself is really pretty. And it's in great shape. And like, I got it on eBay. And I remember it being really cheap. I was really surprised what good shape it was in. And it's beginning... Oh, first of all, we have a map. They have at least a foreword that... Or they have a section... I think might be a section at the end. Let's see. Okay, not. I thought that this one had a section about the movie, but I guess that's my copy of The Searchers, which I showed the last time. But I'm planning on doing Hondo as a read. And that's another John Wayne movie. And finally, I managed to find used. Now, they said it was in good quality. I would have called this very good. So I got this as a steal. This is the Sackett's. I'm only waiting on volume 5. I haven't read any of them, but I like the idea of an ongoing tale with one family. That's really the only thing I know about it. So this is volume 1, which has Sackett's Land, To the Far Blue Mountains, The Warrior's Path. Then volume 2 has The Daybreakers, Sackett, Lando. I'm not sure if that's... I would say that Mojave Crossing, but that might be Mojave Crossing. I would say Mojave myself. Then volume 3 is The Sackett Brand, The Lonely Men, Treasure Mountain, and Mustang Men. And I don't know if this is a bunch, like it's a big family, or if it's over generations, or how this works. Then volume 4, and like I said, I'm waiting on volume 5. I don't know when that's going to come in. But this has Galloway, The Skyliners, The Man from the Broken Hills, and Ride the Dark Trail. And this one, once I saw, excuse me, once I saw how cheap this was, I thought this would be a good thing to have. This is actually how I realized I was missing a volume, because it said there were 17 stories and I only had 15. But this is Sackett Companion, The Facts Behind the Fiction. Apparently it has little fun facts about each book, and it also gives maps, it looks like, for each story, which I can see where that might come in common. I think that part of its value also would be is if you forget the character and maybe they show up later, you can just, it's kind of like the who's who for that I have up there for Agatha Christie. I don't always need it because I've read her stuff so often. I usually know where something's come from or who somebody is. But for something like the Sacketts, where I'm assuming they're interconnected because it's a family of the story. They are stories about a family. So I can see where something like this might come in handy. And it says that within Louis L'Amour. So this was actually put together by Louis L'Amour. I didn't register that the first time. I thought someone else went behind and put it together, but Louis L'Amour actually did put it together himself. So Louis L'Amour reveals fascinating facts about the amazing true story of the real treasure buried on Treasure Mountain, who did it and how, the terrifying battles of adobe walls, who fought them and who won and lost. Bat Masterson, was he a real sheriff or just a legend? I know that name, Bat Masterson. Wasn't he in a Western movie? I can't remember which one. The Wyoming town, just off the Outlaw Trail, where Butch Cassidy owned a house and where a room is still kept for his return. Camels being used in the Old West to transport gold, and much more. And it says that he also shares such personal memories as his early adventures, wandering in wild places, working in the mines, and the street fight he had on a hot, dusty morning in New Mexico that ultimately led to the birth of the Sackett saga. The book also features a comprehensive listing of characters, fictional and historical, with cross-references to each novel in which they appear, maps that chart the geographic background of each Sackett book, early Sackett cover art, and a Sackett family tree and genealogy created by Louis L'Amour exclusively for this book, and that traces 10 generations of Sackett men and women. So, actually, there are that answers my question. There are 10 generations within these books. But I didn't actually realize how cool this is. I thought of mostly like a cross-reference kind of thing. There sounds like there's much, much, much more in here. So I'm really glad I ended up picking this up. I think it'd probably be better to wait to read this, though, until after I finish all the Sacketts. Which I don't know even when I'd start it, because I have other plans for this June. So, back to what I do plan on reading. Had to take one other from over here. Now, not part of what I've already shown, but I am planning to read the Legends and Tales of the American West. So these are folklore. So this is definite plan. These are short things I can, whoa, that's creepy, do here and there. That's a little bit disturbing. Then I've got Red River, Hondo, And Shane, I haven't read Shane since high school, and I'm really looking forward to it. I know that the Virginian is kind of the semi-unofficial, official read-along that people seem to be doing. I'm rather read Shane, so that's what I'm going to do instead. Maybe a different year I'll read the Virginian when I don't have Truman that I need to get through for Big Book Summer and for the David McCullough read-along. So this just isn't the year for me for the Virginia. It's a little bit thicker than I wanted if I want to get a bunch of Westerns read and not just one. And I did kind of want to do a little bit of Taste of Louis L'Amour. I really kind of wanted to get Shane in. And the whole reason I was going to start reading Westerns all over again is this book here. I got it as a free book. I think I mentioned it last time, and it sounded like it was good as a book, just like it was as a movie. And I've only watched the John Wayne one. Probably will only watch the John Wayne one. I didn't really feel like it needed to be remade. So this will probably be the first one I start other than the folklore one. And then from there, maybe Shane and then Red River and then Hondo. I'm not really sure because I have several read-alongs that I'm involved in. But I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be a lot of fun. My pile is a little bit bigger than I had initially planned, but I'm going to enjoy myself. And it was nice to, pull this thing out again. Hope that you enjoyed seeing the book haul. Has anyone else read the Sackett Companion by Louis L'Amour? And if so, did you enjoy it? Because I didn't register that this was by Louis L'Amour when I picked it up. I really thought it was just like the Agatha Christie Who's Who. So I got a lot more out of this than I initially thought. So I'm interested to see if anyone else, what they thought of this. I mean, there is definitely a Who's Who aspect to this, but like I said, more than I expected going in. More to this than I expected going in. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Sorry that I couldn't do like some people did. That I know that Kim had a lot of fun putting on an accent. I feel self-conscious if I do one purposefully. I used to have a bit of an accent when I used to work in the hospital because there were quite a few people with thick Southern accents that I worked with. People who were from the Luray is what they used to say. So from Luray, but they used to always say that they were from the Luray. But most of the people that there was a good combination of people who had thicker Southern accents and those who either had more gentle ones or none at all. And it was more so that I noticed it in the hospital than in my last and final job. But I haven't been exposed to a thick Southern accent in a while, so I've lost quite a bit of that. But I did used to have a bit of a Southern accent in certain circumstances, a bit of chameleon-y in that way. But anyway, I had a lot of fun pulling the hat out again. Had to hide the hoodie with a poncho, but that's a bit Clint Eastwoody if you ignore the hood here. Anyway, look forward to seeing what everyone ends up reading. I have a few more people's videos to watch where they talk about what they're going to read and give suggestions, so I look forward to that. But yeah, see you all and what you'll be reading next month. God bless. Bye.
Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea. Reading always feels so free.